Hello everyone, good morning to you all. It's lovely to have you here again. It is Friday morning here, about I think 10 o'clock, and it's a beautiful sunny spring day. And as you can see, you're looking at the babies, of course, but the reason you're looking at them is because I really wanted to show you the beautiful knitted sets that Annie sent me with them actually on the babies, and they're absolutely perfect. Fit them like a glove, fit them as though, well, as though they were made for them, and they were, because Annie knew the size of these babies, and she's just made the most gorgeous little sets. And something I realised as I was dressing them, which I actually did as soon as I finished my box opening, I put them straight into these little sets. I realised that the colours are interchangeable. Pippa can wear Jonty's colour and Jonty can wear Pippa's colour. So Annie was really, really smart in that, because then it's really mix and match. It's fantastic. So aren't they just gorgeous? Look at their little booties and everything, and their bonnets fit perfectly. Everything's just gorgeous. I hope you liked seeing that, and I just want to thank Annie again, because the sets are absolutely beautiful. Just so perfect and gorgeous. I think I've got the best dressed babies around. Well, certainly I have in my suburb. They're just beautiful and look so cosy, because it is a little bit nippy still today, so they're not hot. They feel just comfy. And yeah, so thank you very much, Annie, for those. I absolutely love them, as you can tell. And so do the babies. They're just so cuddly. I think I can tell you about a really good find I made the other day. I had to go into the chemist. I don't know if you people call it pharmacy or drugstore, but we call it a chemist. And look what I found for my collection. I'll show you. A gorgeous Avent glass bottle, would you believe? That is glass. It's fantastic. It's the same as the other ones, but that you get in plastic, but this is a glass one. It was the one and only. It was just sitting all by itself on the shelf, so I absolutely had to buy it. I think it's so sweet. It's got the writing there and it's got the measurements. And it's perfect. It's beautiful. It came with a little top as well. There we go. There's the top. So how about that? So I'm going to add that to my collection, my newly sorted out collection. And I thought I might come on one day and show you all my glass bottles. Well, there's not that many, but there's a few. You might be interested, so I might do that next time. And there was just one other thing I thought I might chat about, and it came as a result of watching Bean's video from maybe even a week ago now, or 5 days, something like that. Bean Shanine from Twisted Beanstalk Nursery. She's a brilliant artist, absolutely so creative and different, and she's just brilliant. Anyway, the title of her video was Kidnapped and Sold into Slavery. And then it said, it's true. And so I thought, oh my goodness, what on earth is this about? So I listened to her story, and I suggest you go and watch it. It's really, really interesting. And she was basically kidnapped and sold into slavery. I won't tell you what else happened. And it happened when she was much younger. And it made me start thinking about how we were sort of so kind of, I don't know if sheltered and innocent are the right words, but we were very trusting in those days before social media. I think in a way things were a bit easier. So I thought I'd just tell you a similar story, not about kidnapping or or child slavery or anything like that, but a story about a sort of a different, safer, more innocent time, and goes way back. This story goes way back to 1969, actually, when I met my husband and how I met him. And these days it would like make your toes curl to think of letting your children do this. And I actually can't remember if I was allowed, in inverted commas, to do this, or if I made up a story to tell my parents. I can't remember that bit, but I wasn't a naughty teenager. I was grumpy and mean and all of that stuff, and yeah, embarrassed by everything, but I don't remember being particularly naughty. In fact, I think the naughtiest thing my then boyfriend and I did was I wasn't allowed to go to the drive-in movies. So what we used to do was we'd say we were going somewhere else, and I had a big square letterbox in the front of our house, and I used to put into that letterbox like a casual outfit, jeans and t-shirt or whatever was the dress of the day. And so I'd say goodbye to my parents in my going out clothes, and then we would grab the clothes from the letterbox and I'd get changed. I don't know where, I can't remember any of those kind of details. I guess they just didn't matter. And then we went off to the drive-ins. So that was probably the naughtiest thing I ever did. And we didn't do anything naughty at the drive-ins except watch the movie. Maybe we kissed a bit, but nothing else. I mean, yeah, it was innocent in those days. Anyway, so back to my story of 1969 when I met my husband. Well, he became my husband. I have had a best friend and still do, but she's across the other side of the country, so I don't see her. I very rarely see her, but we talk a bit and, you know, send cards and Christmas greetings, all that kind of stuff. And her name is Helen. And we grew up through primary school and high school together. And when I was 16 and Helen was 16, there used to be parties on at the weekend, and people would talk at school and say, oh, you know, it's in such and such a street, and, you know, this person's having it and this is the house number. And it was just so innocent in those days that all we did was we would decide, oh yes, we'll go to that party. So we just headed, Helen and I used to head off together and find the party and just go in. And it wasn't like a million people gate crashed it. It was all just manageable, and maybe, I don't know, 30 people or 40 people, something like that. But it was usually when parents were away. And the drinks cupboard usually got raided. I don't really drink, so it wasn't me who raided it, but, you know, lots of people did. But it was never aggressive or wild. It was really just, we used just to play records and you know, just talk and muck around and dance a bit. Anyway, so this one night in October of 1969, Helen and I heard about a party down at Cottesloe, which is a beachside suburb where actually Glenn and I had our first flat together. So we heard about a party in Cottesloe that was on a street called Broome Street, which is a super, super, super long street. Oh, it's huge. It takes hours to walk it. And Helen and I guess we caught a bus down there, and then we started walking, and we were just walking along Broome Street looking for the party and hadn't come anywhere near it. When two boys in a little Mini, the proper old-fashioned real Mini, pulled up alongside us and said, were we looking for a party? And we said yes, and they said, well, we are too. Would we like to hop into their car? Well, I mean, just imagine doing that now. It's shocking to even think about it. But we said, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. We'll go to the party together. So luckily, I think John was driving, and Helen got in first and she sat behind him, and then I sat behind the other boy whose name was Glenn, which of course we didn't know either of those things at the time. And so we went to the party together, and that's how I met my husband. And I can't remember any other details of that night. I can't even remember what the party was like inside, or how much time we spent with Glenn and John. I can't remember, but they were best friends, and we all used to go out together as a foursome, and Helen went out with John and I went out with Glenn, and she didn't last with John. I suppose it lasted maybe 6 months or a year, I can't remember how long, but I lasted with Glenn, and we got married 3 years later. So yeah, that's just a story of kind of innocence that I thought I might tell you. So different to now, isn't it? Just, yeah, really, really different. But, it was safe then, and it was okay, and I don't know. I suppose if they would have been predators, I like to think Helen and I wouldn't have got in the car. Maybe we could just tell they were nice boys. And they were local boys, and so it was fine. It was really good. It was great fun. That and my driving story, very innocent kind of stories. I do remember once Glenn and I actually did fall asleep at the drive-ins, and we were so scared I was going to get into so much trouble because we were late. I don't know if I did, because I can't remember what happened, so I guess we didn't. Otherwise it would still be etched in my brain that I copped it. So yes, there is that song. I've forgotten what it is, but hopefully you all know, about falling asleep at the movies and they're going to get in trouble when they go home. So it was a bit like that. But that was probably the worst of anything I ever did when I was a kid. I probably don't do anything bad now either. I don't think I I've never been in any sort of trouble or done anything really wrong. I've always wanted to, be nice and kind to people and care about people, and so I suppose I wasn't that bad, but I was revolting as a teenager, grumpy and surly and don't look at me like that, don't say that to me, don't embarrass me, all that kind of stuff. So I think I was pretty awful to live with for a while. Anyway, I'll stop talking now because you'll be sick of the sound of my voice, and next time maybe I'll show you my glass bottle collection. So everybody have a lovely time, whatever time of day or night it is where you are, and thank you very much for joining me, and thanks for coming, and just be kind to each other. And bye bye everyone. Have a nice weekend if you're up that far near the weekend. Bye bye.